This video presents a slideshow of historical buildings across southern Africa that share similar designs, including the distinctive Cloak Tower, commonly seen on mausoleums across the ancient world. The Cloak Tower is also present in genocidal London Missionary Society intelligence agent Robert Moffat's town of Kuruman in the 1820s. This is very important because Kuruman is known to have been built at the site of the Proto-Bantu Way Gate, which Moffat worked to render inaccessible by constructing the town in that location and calling himself the King of Kuruman, or the Chief Rainmaker, as he oversaw the unaliving and destruction of the remaining Proto-Bantu and anyone who challenged the London Missionary Society's genocidal Calvinist goals. As for the historical buildings, European colonial records often say these were built between 1880 and 1900. The problem with this timeline is that this was a time of great upheaval and conflict amongst Europeans in Africa. The Anglo-Boer War was being fought on several fronts during this period. Therefore, where did they find the time and resources to construct such lavish structures? European colonists didn't have the funds, which is why they turned to piracy and sponsored raids like the Mfecane. This was because the Cape Colony was poor, as in, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride kind of poor. They only had wishes, theft, and a fear of eating one another on their minds. They were poor, that even imagination had abandoned them. So are we to believe that they are the true builders, or did they find these structures, then modify them, change their names so they could claim credit for work of a civilization they had helped destroy? Studying these structures and comparing them to others across Africa can help us better understand their history. These structures seem to have been mausoleums or tombs, like the Taj Mahal. Well, we're still working on more proof. But it is important to remember that ancient tombs often had grand constructions. They were grand. And the layouts in these buildings is that of small rooms which were repurposed by European colonists to function as utility spaces such as city halls, train stations, but never private residences despite the grandeur. This begs the question, why would they spend so much money building these really lavish constructions only for them to serve as public buildings and not the homes or stately homes of their very important officials, which is usually the case? In addition, older maps, architectural styles, and the Proto-Bantu culture point to the presence of the clock towers across Africa long before European colonial expansion. But to fully understand, I think it is important that we contextualize the way of life of the people who most likely built the structures. The Aba Lombwana were the Proto-Bantu men. Aba Lombwana is an expression still used by their descendants, as in Mulombwana, to mean men who build or the best of men, because they believed a man who builds and not destroys is the best of men and encouraged this behavior. And also, a central tenet of the Proto-Bantu belief system is manifestation by visualization, the idea of becoming the state of what you want. This is demonstrated by the rain summoners when they sing for rain, which is called Gurambila Umvula. They rambila, which is to pat their slightly cupped palms together while singing, which creates the sound of rainfall and a sense it is falling and therefore it falls. They become one with the idea that they want to manifest. And when we look at places, especially Southern Africa, we have to look at what the structures were meant to represent. or manifest in order to fully understand what they may have been used for. This also applies to the arches, which are common across southern Africa in structures above and below ground. Arches represent doorways, and it is recorded that many Proto-Bantu also left this earth through doorways or way gates when the wars on them had begun. There is also the concept of Laanda, which is the Proto-Bantu burial house. Upon death, an individual is laid to rest in a structure that resembles a room in a house or their bedroom, which is malo or palo. Malo or malo is what the pyramids were called in ancient Egypt. This is why the pyramids were built, and the house-like structures were built on top of the graves, which themselves were rooms. The grave is a malo, a place of rest, or strictly speaking, plenty gathered. So where many are gathered. This also points to Ansi, the land of bliss of the Proto-Bantu. That is the land of eternal bliss, because those who left were going to Ansi, which also means down, and those who were here could commune with those who had gone through by going to the Ganda or barrier houses. So Malo or Malo is where the kin are gathered. I have trouble switching between accents. So together, the Ganda and archers represent a Malindi or passage. I hope that this very brief explanation contextualizes these images and you enjoy the slideshow. Please let me know what you think in the description below. And if you'd like to support this channel and support this research and this content, please support our Ko-fi account. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for watching.